Hey, what's up, all the peoples? Ridiculous Badger. I'm still alive. I'm still alive. I don't know what to tell you guys. I'm still alive. So, hey, one of my guildmates mentioned that there's some shiz going on. The Galactic battle. Let's check our shield. Okay. I got my Galactic battle a little bit later. So I figure let's check out some GC stuff. You know I'm gonna have to hunt monsters in the middle, but whatever. Where is it? Okay, here we go. So we got some cool fights going on right now. We got Winter Soldiers versus CHN. We'll have to check that out. Couple of others. I saw NYC versus 888. It looked like Odad had gone to 888 for the week to ensure the win against NYC. And that's something that we have seen in seasons past. A lot of guild hopping. And there have been regulations enforced on the community that have kind of rolled some of that back, or at least put a stop to some of it. I don't feel bad at all watching it happen to NYC. NYC basically invented the guild hopping for maximizing rewards, and in fact, the 72-hour rule that we have today, that you must be in a guild for 72 hours before you can enter the Galactic campaign, that was because NYC and AXR were guild hopping. And they were doing it even in playoffs. So it looks like Winter Soldiers was able to send some of their best people over to their sub-guild 888, and they took out NYC for a KO this week. But what we've got is the rest of Winter Soldiers, sans Odad, and Army. I saw Odad and Army were in 888. Probably some more people as well. And we're watching as Winter Soldiers is fighting against CHN Genial. It's a Chinese guild. It's an excellent guild, old guild. Playoffs guild since small times, since the Knucklehead days. And so we're just, let's see how this fight turns out. And I think that right now CHN is actually holding with the points. Yep. So CHN is 15 billion points. Winter Soldiers almost 11 billion. They're at 10.5 billion. And this is, I'm sure that this is somewhat uncomfortable, or I should say, not necessarily uncomfortable, but it is somewhat of a difficult fight, or a fight that Winter Soldiers has to be a little bit adaptive to, as CHN has their entire team. But a couple of the primary people of Winter Soldiers went over to 888, so the rest of the team is going to have to step into that breach. Right away, it looks like we're seeing that Winter Soldiers is incorporating some of the gameplay that they saw when they fought DZG in past seasons, and that they are formed up on the line, and they're looking to stop CHN from moving forward into their territory. Now, there's a couple of things that you could do as a guild in order to play very defensively and to keep the enemy out of your territory. And one is you could absolutely, you could form up on the line. That's fine. You could use your arc movement to the line, but that in general, that's not really any better. Because once you have sight of the end location of an arc where it's moving to, you can attack them. So moving doesn't really offer any additional benefits these days over not moving, except that you could halt your movement. So it's whether it's better to move to the line and constantly move to the line, or just sit on the line. You might as well just sit on the line. This is something, you could only really do this with a huge amount of participation, because if you look at it, you've got, I forget how many this is. Give me a friggin' coordinate. 20. Okay, so what? In this one, this is 0 or this is 1? Yeah, 1. Okay, so 20. So you got to have 20 active arcs, and those are arcs that are going to come under fire, especially if the enemy gets vision. So these are arcs that they have to consistently move. And you can see a lot of them have force field. If you have force field, it does, make some sense. You could move instead of actually sitting there. But that's enough of movement theory. So let's check out who has the scout towers. Looks like Winter Soldiers very strong in the scout towers. Oh, buddy, old Greg. Don't you know there's Dragon Slayers these days with that Ranger formation? A lot of big T10, T11 formations, and You know, it's not going to stop anyone with T12. But let's see, what is CHN throwing at them? Yeah, this is all T12 they're throwing at. Those T11 marches, you know, that's old meta. But it looks like Winter Soldier says Vision of the Far Tower. Their natural tower, I'm sure Winter's... Yep, no fight even. No fight in there. Machine should reset, though. There's no need to give the first strike to somebody else like that. And also... Buddy, you don't need that one Great Sage in slot 3. All that's going to do is bring your 1,366 Great Sage under some fire. And, you know, I noticed that we're seeing some Stella there. That looks like an attack Stella, and I'm, of course, just judging by the type of units. But I think that, by and large, most of the Stellas we're seeing is Tank Stella. Tank Stella these days is just incredibly strong in the meta, and we're going to see it advance. This T9, T10 march is ridiculous. CHN, you're wasting 10 seconds there. All right, let's check out the strongholds. It's like Winter Soldiers is currently in control. Keb remaining strong, lost the slot there. He should be resetting, but Storm, buddy, your T2, I know your T2 can damage T12 with Reinhardt, but if you don't have T12, you kind of have no business being there. Full rock formation, that's interesting. You actually give up less points if you use spiders rather than yetis, because of the point per leadership unit. And let's check out the other one. This stronghold has already been destroyed, so we just missed that. All those red lines at the beginning of the stream leaving the stronghold must have been the stronghold getting destroyed. And now we're probably going to see... Yup, you're going to see all of CHN move to the left side of the map now. And CHN is probably still maintaining on a points lead. See if I can do this right this time. And yeah, Winter Soldiers closed the gap. Hasn't really closed the gap. Winter Soldiers gained 2 billion points. And Genial gained, it looks like 1.5 billion, something like that. It doesn't matter, though, that they're ahead in points because Winter Soldiers is just going for the brute force knockout. So we should start to see them soon in the base. But if they're not ready for that, if they want an easier hour in the base, which they might because Odad and Army aren't here, then what they might do is they might just lock down this structure. Once they lock down the stronghold, it would take the scrappiest, best veteran fighters of CHN to be able to hold their own for a points win in the base while, quote-unquote, the lights are on. So Winter Soldiers, it looks like here, is going for full visibility of the map. We might see them start to march on the base. Yep, we're seeing the march go from base to the base. But I think by and large, they're going to probably be putting their efforts in this structure. And Keb, buddy, it's time for you to withdraw. It's time for you to reset. And I mean, he's just tanking the hits, which is great. For there we go. He reset there. So we'll see. It looks like they've got about 22 minutes on that stronghold. Now, that doesn't mean they're not going to make a play for the base, but it looks like their primary focus for now, at least, is to play this conventional and go for the stronghold. It is going to be more expensive for them for that half an hour, theoretically, because now they have to take the stronghold, and then after that they're going to take the base. So it's an hour and a half of holding steady. However, in reality, it's probably going to be a lot cheaper for them to take both strongholds, because once they take both strongholds, they have full visibility over the CHN side. Once they have visibility over the CHN side, everybody on Winter Soldiers can start porting arcs, and it looks like CHN doesn't have many force fields up. It could be that they're saving them. But once Winter Soldiers gets full license to just start porting every single arc on the screen, many times the enemy team, the other team I should say, will elect to quit the field rather than put up with that kind of bombardment for an hour while Winter Soldiers tries to take the base. Having said that, if they can put up with it, it still is anybody's game as long as CHN can keep Winter Soldiers out of the base. As long as they can kick Winter Soldiers out of the base such that Winter Soldiers has to take it within the last hour of gameplay, then CHN could still win by points. And let's see, how much longer do we have on this? Ooh, we have 12 minutes because I'm going to friggin' hit monsters. Okay, so it's 3 hours 11 minutes into the fight. So CHN needs to have a points lead at 2 hours 11 minutes from now, and they need to be able to kick Winter Soldiers out of the base, or at least keep them out of the base until that timer clicks to under 1 hour, because at that point it would take an hour for Winter Soldiers to take the base. They can't take the base if there's less than an hour left in the match, and as long as CHN can exit the field with a points lead at that point, they will win the match. Why did I do that? Okay. And it looks right now like, yeah, I mean, CHN is gaining points hand over fist. It looks like one of the things that's happening is that as Winter Soldiers is trying to keep up with their objectives, I mean, there's a lot going on in the field. I just think what some of those points are is we're not seeing players pull quick enough when they should pull. Got Darth Vader with his elf. Looks like he took a couple of hits, but nothing major. Then Letrepreneur, buddy, Rogers is done. Someone's gonna chuck a steam cannon elf at you, and you're gonna get screwed. You should be changing that. I mean, at this point, as far as I could tell, the best air tank is Reinhardt, but Reinhardt is gonna suffer from a lot of the same problems that Rogers is gonna suffer from. It's just that Rogers is a spin-up comm, and Reinhardt is a steady comm. There we got Kev back in with his massive Stella. Stella is great this season. Stella and Elf are just, monsters this season. Let's see if we can check out the fight. Oh, let's say hi to the people. Let's share replays. What's up, nerds? No, not that. There we go. Let's watch some of these fights. Magnum PI. Maggie, what'd you get? Oh, so he is actually safe at sending these T11 in here because he has first strike. Even if he didn't, the enemy's first strike is going to hit his arc. It's not going to hit his troops. And you can't have a skill proc. You can't have a skill proc when you're arrayed against the arc, when the column is open. Nice. I mean, he got a couple of hits in. I mean, it's a troll commander at this level. I mean, if that were T12, we would see some real damage. What is the problem with Wings of Eternity as a plug-in skill? The problem with Wings of Eternity as a plug-in skill is that there's actually a damage reduction on it. It's not full damage. With Gemini, you'll see full damage from one of the hits. That was the full damage hit with Gemini. But the issue is that Wings of Eternity... Here, we'll show you. Oh, friggin' shit. Not the map. Wings of Eternity has a damage modifier. So if it trip blah, 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 then damage of the second action at level 60, this is 90%. So, I mean, that's well within the plus or minus 15% range. So most people don't even notice that actually there's a 10% reduction in damage. But that's at level 60. At level 30, it's a 55% reduction in damage, right? Because it's 3% per level, and a level 30 or 1.5% per level, and at level 30, that's 45% of a normal attack damage. At level 15, it's half of that, so it's 22.5%. So you need 4 Wings of Eternity procs then, and to land the hit all 4 times in order to make up the difference. But if you land Gemini, what Gemini does, this is interesting, and this is why it's important to go back. Every time there are meta changes, go back and look at shiz, right? All soldiers, 20%, blah, blah, blah. There's an additional action of this turn. All common and extra attack will hit. Extra damage will be normal attack 100%. That means that so there's an additional action this turn. That additional action is 100% of a normal attack, which means it's a normal attack damage. So normally if you triggered Wings of Eternity, you hit, Magnum's his second attack. Like let's say he triggers Wings of Eternity, the second attack that comes around, the Wings of Eternity proc, his normal attack damage would normally be 22.5%, and it is. But if he also procs Gemini, so he's got the 22.5% of normal attack damage, and then he also has a regular old normal attack, which is at 100% damage. Okay. So I mean, but that's a very small. That's a small percentage chance that you're going to proc that Wings of Eternity at 60%, and then you're 20% the Gemini. So I mean, that's 12% that you're going to proc it the first time. But it's nice when it hits. Let's take a look at L'Entrepreneur. That was the Oh, okay. So he's got more than one troop type. We saw his Rogers. He's got Elf as well. This is a full march. Wow, that is a great hit. See, whenever I see these players that are like multiple troop types, though, I always wonder how great are their, how great is the gear that they're using? What is their primary troop type actually, and how great is the gear? Because very few people can effectively main multiple troop types. And you can see he's just doing a ton of damage. He's got his procs. I mean, the Wings of Eternity is not really for the damage proc. It is for the it's for the skill procs. I think this guy has fire pants. And you could see that back row, he did his awakening damage, which was actually much higher than his Wings of Eternity damage. So if you could hit the enemy, look, those things are great. It's great. If the enemy has a back row and the enemy can't dodge a normal attack from you, that it's something to consider. All right. Yeah, this guy, he just procced like Andromeda too many times or something. See, I mean, these elves with steam cannon, they're not really... Oh, wow. That was a big tear space hit, man. They're not really as good against these assault comms like Blam. Yup. It's kind of a slugfest. This guy from CHN, he's only got Transcenders in the back there because those are, that's what he has. He probably doesn't have another full slot of the Great Sage. Nice. Okay. So he broke through, but it looks like at the end he got his hit. And whenever you throw Wings of Eternity on something, stuff like that's going to happen. Any good replay? Let's check out Nacho. Oh, come on, bro. No one cares about this. No one cares about that. Dude, put some Nacho, put some tear suppression on your stuff. No one cares about this either. It's a pretty big Nico. I think we're going to see Nico fade a little bit away here. But, full march at T10, no one cares. Did we see this one? No, we did not. So it looks like tank Stella against an attack Gilly. And Gilly's not going to be able to hit Stella if Keb has the truth on his as his weapons. His dodge is just going to be way too high. Yeah, it looks like the enemy also... I mean, look, it's a max leap comm. They probably have decent research. Oh, there we go. But I mean, that was a smaller slot. Hi, cat. Sorry, cat. Man, we're not seeing the dual blades procs, huh? Where's the plugin? There's the dual blades procs. You know, and dual blades is a great skill. It's one of those skills that you only need level 1 for, which is awesome. And now we can see that 3 of the enemy slots are barred from using skills, which is a huge deal. There we go. That's going to clear that. Oh, wow. Okay. Guess with Stella, there's just going to be so many Dizzy procs and Virgo procs that the longer this fight goes on, the more this goes into Stella's camp. Even though normally Gilly versus Stella is the preferred matchup for Gilly, at least in the past, nowadays it's not. I mean, well, the thing is that it wasn't that it was the... You know, we always call Gilly like a Stella killer, and, you know, in many ways, Gilly removed Stella from the meta because she acted as a deterrent for a year or more. The resurgence of Stella is based on the resurgence of dodge in equipment. So what had happened is, why did Gilly kill Stella in the meta? Gilly killed Stella in the meta for a long time because Gilly was able to ensure that if a commander relied on sure hit gems to get their hits in, there was an entire round where that comp could do nothing against Gilly. Provided Gilly stacked enough dodge, the fact that she had preemptive meant that the other commander would not get any gem procs for the whole first round. And that gives Gilly the capability to have an entire round to herself to whittle down the enemy. Now we've got all of this dodge gear and all of this accuracy gear in coming back in. So the fact is, you know, yeah, maybe depending on the amount of accuracy that the Stella has, Stella still has trouble hitting Gilly in the first round. But also Gilly has trouble hitting Stella when it's not a sure hit. So it just becomes kind of a slugfest. And if Stella, if whoever Gilly is going up against stacks enough HP and damage reduction and dodge, it just becomes very difficult for them to do anything. You know, keep in mind, of course, also for the whole first round, even though the Stella couldn't get any gem procs, they could still get skill procs. So Stella could still proc Dizzy a ton of times and just systematically break down the attack that Gilly is able to bring to the party. Oh shoot, it's monster spawn. Whatever on this. Or it's 1 minute. 1 minute, okay. Now let's make sure I got all my shiz ready. Sorry guys, let's get my marching speed up. We'll come back to that. I think we know what's gonna happen. And this is just my random gear for hitting monsters with. Okay. Alright, we got 9 seconds. And I'm gonna have to move. This is a terrible spot. So let's look to move. This is also a bad spot based on, I mean, I'm just going to get lower, it's going to get a little bit lower speed. But it gets me moving, gets me stuff. I'm going to look to travel a little bit of a ways away. Come on. Where's this guy going? Oh, tiles, whatever. Is it like a staggered rollout? Sometimes it feels like forever. Okay. Alright, so we'll hit some of these monsters, then we'll head back in. I'm not looking to make a day of it. Not looking to make a day of it. I need a few more high-end monsters. Oh, can I beat all these jerks? Yep. Gotta beat all those jerks. Alright. Dude, this is... I don't know what's up. This reset. This is not going well for... Oh, crap. I just saw him. Sometimes the red lines are the best way to find monsters. Alright, I'm starting to feel a little better over here. I do have to get back to Centican. So I'm trying not to go too far away. Oh, nice. Okay. Alright. We'll probably head back. Yeah, okay. We'll call it short. I'm not gonna bore you guys. Well, maybe I am boring you guys. I don't know. Oh, okay. Looks like CHN has picked up a healthy lead. There are 25 billion points, 18 billion for Winter Soldiers. How are they doing here? Great. Except for this random maniac. What the heck are you doing, bro? What are you doing? With the walkers and the T11? That's crazy. Let's see how Fire's doing. What? What the heck is this? You know what? Oh, that's an auto garrison. Looks like Fire attacked an arc. That's an auto garrison. Shockwave? Yup. Oh, Fire. Sorry, bro. Yeah, he's just hitting arcs, I think. No. Wait a second. He had 723. Do you have 723 for the last fight? At the end of the last fight? Beginning of the last fight? No, he did. Okay, that's just his stack. His stack is 723. Oh, 672. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think he's hitting arcs. This is risky, but he's got Sleep Bomb, and Sleep Bomb makes it work out for him. So he's going to get away unscathed because this is T11 air. Yeah, he gets a hit. I mean, it's just how much does that hit really matter? I want to see the Maniac replay. That's the guy that has the T12 walkers on Stella. Oh, he is a T12 player. Okay, I thought those were like Crackerjack T12. He's a T12 walker player, and he has T11 infantry, although they might be... The T11 infantry might be Crackerjacks. Oh, this is big proc. But the issue is just the way that you calculate the HP shield of Hancock. It's basically like doubles the size of the stack, and you have to get through that HP shield in order to start doing damage to him. So, there's just no way he was going to do enough damage here. With Steam Cannon? I don't know. I feel like Hancock is already a Rogers killer. Going with Steam Cannon on him, it's double duty. I don't know that it's your best option. There's some other really great options, though. Yeah. So, eventually did enough damage. Should have gone with another plug-in skill. That plug-in skills would bury them in the end. If you don't score a best defense, it's kind of... I believe it might be better to put the best defense on other commanders rather than using black. This is a very safe attack for bad days, as the enemy has no slot 1, which means slot 2 is the first to go, and sends him home. Nice. Then the next person who would hit him would send him home. Alright, so at this point we should be seeing just about the end of this. Yep. Again, Rock should be used with T2, not with T1. Although front row, that's the right formation. But then this T10, the T10 and the T11, by the end here, they're just as good as a single Ranger. The Hancock with Yetis, not sure what you're trying to prove there, bro. And if you're going to use a single Ranger MQOF, why not use it with a level 1 commander so you have no heal time? That's just good math. And I think that we're going to see CHN quit the... Yup. That's it. Because CHN does not want to be hit the whole time. So, as I said, it might seem like it's more expensive to go for both strongholds and then the main base, but it takes, instead of dealing with an hour, you get to deal with half-hour segments, and then what the hope is that after you take both strongholds, the enemy quits the field. And we did see a number of CHN arcs quit the field. Some of them are going to stay behind, I assume, and fight. Here's JDB and the L'Entrepreneur. How big is he? 1 billion power? Yeah, he's about 1 billion. So, he's probably got, 2 very well-developed troop types. However, I would love to see his gear. My hunch is that he's more towards air than walker, based on what we've seen. Oh, yep, CHN leaving the field, asking Winter Soldiers not to hit any arcs. And, that Winter Soldiers doesn't need any more points at this point. That is just a nice thing to do. Because, keep in mind, Winter Soldiers want CHN to leave the field. The reason that they want CHN to leave the field is they don't want to deal with an hour-long struggle in the enemy base. So it's much cheaper for them to deal with that as CHN is off the field and just win by default. So it's in their best interest to be nice here and say, that's fine, we won't hit arcs. And you could see one by one the CHN arcs leaving the field here. You know, right now the meta is still very much in flux as people experiment with their plug-in skills. This season is going to be a little bit sloppy fighting. Next season is going to be incredibly brutal as people will have gotten their counters ready for all of the major setups. We'll see how this develops. But I would, if I were you guys, I would expect additional rules to be rolled out by 7 Pirates to limit migration or to limit how many guilds you could join for a Galactic battle. I have to say, this is a far cry better performance than we've seen from Winter Soldiers than in the past. It looks like Winter Soldiers has really taken to heart some of the strategies and ways that DZG was able to box them out of the win last season. We'll have to see how... So this is how this held up under... I mean, CHN is a wonderful team. They're very strong. They have an in-depth understanding of the game. We're going to have to see how these tactics hold up as they advance onto guilds like DZG in high-stakes matches. Whereas I know they did fight DZG earlier in the season. However, sometimes early in the season, teams take a dive. We'll have to see. So we'll have. I mean, I guess they also do that late in the season, but we'll have to see how they really hold up with their new tactics when it gets into a 6-hour playoffs fight. Much harder to sit on. It's much easier to sit on the line for 3 hours than to sit on the line for 5 hours. And you know, there's only so many arcs, and every person that gets ported or fights on their arc, they end up having to take their attention off of other battles. And Force Field only lasts an hour, so they'll get to use it once. So we'll see how this all goes. I want to thank you guys for joining me here for this match. I'm sorry that it was so short, but I will catch you on the flip side.